Billy Creekmore Chapter 6. I share some secrets and keep others locked up, while Mr. Beetle looks for a thief. All night I tossed and turned, waking up every so often, once from a bad dream I couldn't remember, another time because of rain. Thought about telling Rufus and the boys in the Robbers Club about Meek Jones and his mangled hand, but I couldn't see no sense in that. The more people that know a secret, the more likely it is to get out. If Mr. Calder and Mr. Beetle found out he'd been here, they might set out to bring him back to the factory and the horrible life he was leading there. No, I couldn't tell no one about Meek. The rain drummed on the roof like 1,000 tiny mallets, and I don't think I ever truly fell back asleep. Near dawn I heard Walter Barnes let out a yell. Water was coming through the roof, and he woke up cold and wet from rain falling on his face. The path to the dining hall was ankle-deep in mud. For the first time ever, there weren't no bowls or spoons waiting for us when we took our places at the table. "Wonder if Peggy's sick," whispered Rufus. A few boys muttered complaints, but those that noticed Mr. Beetle staring at us nudged him to silence. There he was, glowering at us and slapping his hickory stick against the wall, priming it for a beating. Right then and there my heart shriveled up, for I knew what he was mad about. "Look at them, Peggy." He pointed at us with the switch, his brow wrinkled with anger. "The most ungrateful lot of boys it has been my misfortune to know. Hungry, are you, boys? Well, there'll be no food, not a crumb for any of you, until the thief comes forward. Isn't it true, Peggy? Isn't one of these boys a thief?" "Oh, sir, I can't say if it's one of our boys," answered Peggy. "Maybe a tramp broke in last night and took the things." "Most unlikely. No, it's one of these wretches for sure. Tell them what's missing, Peggy." "One of my best knives, sir, some cider and a sausage, and a wedge of cheese." "And what else, Peggy?" "Money, sir." "Money!" he thundered. "Someone has stolen money from the Guardian Angel's Home for Boys, the very ham that feeds him." Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to faint or be sick. I felt right panicky as he stomped about. I longed for the earth to split open and swallow me whole, for in another moment I was sure I'd do something to give myself away. I sneaked a glance at Peggy, and her eyes sent me a fierce warning to stay silent, and I could tell she weren't going to give me up to Mr. Beetle. "I demand to know," thundered Mr. Beetle, "who stole from this orphanage?" Nobody said a word. "I warn you, thief, I will find you. I will not let you steal from the good work of guardian angels. Until then there will be no food for any of you. To your chores, then, the lot of you." Out into the rain we scurried to tend the animals and shovel the mud. We worked for hours in the cold and wet, hunger gnawing at our bellies while Mr. Beetle patrolled among us, trying to unnerve someone into confessing. I was pumping water at the well when Peggy appeared on the back porch and pulled me quick into the pantry. "Did you do it, Billy? You're the only one that knows where I keep the money." "No, Peggy, it warn't me," I pleaded, "but I know who it was. You see, I was awful restless that night, so I took a little stroll, and what did I see creeping about the place but a convict, an escaped one, dressed in black and white stripes, limping through the mist with an iron on his leg. Stop it, Billy. Now tell me the truth. Is it you that stole from the kitchen?" I swallowed the rest of the lie, then told her the truth. Yes, it was me, but I have a good reason. It weren't a convict. It was Meek Jones. He'd run away from Mr. Calder's glass factory, and he was hungry and injured, crippled, really. He won't ever be able to use his hand again, on account that it was almost burned off by melted glass. I described his accident and how pitiful his hand looked, and in a few short moments Peggy's good heart prevailed and her anger went away. She scooped me up in her arms, hugged me tight, and as she cried for poor Meek and his crippled hand. "Oh, to be poor, hungry orphan, cold and injured, wandering alone in the depths of night," she cried a bit more, then added, "Next time you come across a hungry, injured child, you wake me up. I could have put together some money and food without Mr. Beetle ever noticing it was gone." I assured her the next time I found myself in such a situation I'd do just as she said. Then she let me go, but not before cautioning me about the state of my soul and decrying the bad habit of lying I had developed. "It will get the best of you in the end, for you'll get too easy with words. You're taken by the power of storytelling, and if you ever use it to hurt others, you'll be lost, Billy." Her face was pink with emotion, and I thought she might start crying again, but she didn't. Instead, she told me to slip back among the boys while she figured out a way out of this mess. For the rest of the day I tried looking as innocent as I could, but inside I felt troubled. My mind was full of the secrets, and I was so possessed by them that I barely felt the rain falling on my face. All day long I heard the river roaring. It was swollen and angry from 2 days of rain. No doubt the bank would be slippery and wet, and the narrow path that wound between the trees and boulders was probably buried in dark water. I thought of poor Meek Jones making his escape with his sore hand, and I hoped he had decided to walk some other way than along the river.